welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to our quarterfinals, to the quarterfinals of PiGosaur Monday number 8. Oh boy, we have our two players ready for us. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look back yourselves. The majority of round 16 has concluded, and now we are embracing the round of 8. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of a neon violet square, we have the South Korean Terran player, the blue Terran representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Protoss player from the land of the Americas. It is Astrea. Here we go, and if you are in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat with those predictions. With that, Gamba, let's go. Now, when it comes to this series, if you have been watching the Cranky Ducklings for the past like 2-3 months, then you would know that we see ByuN versus Astrea almost every single week. Shout out to both ByuN and Astrea. They are very active players in the online tournament scene, and they play very frequently as a result. Players like ByuN, Astrea, Shin, Trap, Nightmare, very active players. So they face time and time again. When it comes to recent results, I believe it was the previous Tenacious Turtle Tussle, if I recall correctly, where we had a best of 5 between ByuN and Astrea. I think we may have even seen these two players face off in the finals of the previous PiGosaur Cups as well. And recently has been going the way of Astrea. We'll have to double check. Definitely, so un momento. But for the most part, yeah, ByuN and Astrea, they have been trading very often, and I want to say that Astrea has had the most recent winning record against ByuN in a bit of a surprising fashion here. So it's been great to see Astrea take down ByuN time and time again, but they often go back and forth. Very rarely is it one-sided. Very rarely. It's usually, you know, game 4 or game 5. But here we're in a best of 3, not a best of 5. That is something to bear in mind, is that we are in a shorter series. Head-to-head, straight, unqueer. Just checking. Yep, so there we go. So just double checking. So it was Tenacious Turtle Tussle, number 23, where Astrea took down ByuN 3-2. If you remember, this was last week. Astrea, he had a 2-0 lead over ByuN. ByuN then won 2 games in a row, and it was looking like a reverse sweep, and then Astrea barely did win it in the end. Then we had the previous week, PiGosaur Monday number 7, where ByuN took down Astrea 2-0. Then we had PiGosaur Monday number 6, where ByuN took down Astrea 3-1. Then the KSRC, the final one, I believe, of the season, where Astrea took down ByuN. So again, they go back and forth. Quickly double checking here, they are like 57%. ByuN has a 57% win rate against Astrea, so almost 50-50. 57, you know, we can round it down, or I guess round it up, 60-40, but close nonetheless. So I'm excited always to see these two face off. I'm excited. It's 57% in favor of ByuN for series. When it comes to game, it's 55%. Oh boy. Regardless, best of luck in the chat with those predictions. Don't envy you whatsoever. But now we have our openers. It is going to be a rack to expand economic opener out of ByuN, going for a 3cc 3 racks. This is ByuN's go-to. You should be very familiar with this build. Basically, very fast third base into a 3 racks into a stim timing for ByuN. He would often do this on site Delta in the previous map pool, and in the current map pool, I mean, Neon Violet Square screams 3cc 3 racks because of how securely, how quickly you can get your third racks up and running. So this is just a very common build for ByuN specifically, very stylistic for ByuN, I should say, very bio-oriented, of course. Now, the purpose and the power of this build really kicks in the mid-game. What I'm referring to, because ByuN's third base is so fast, when it gets fully saturated, that's when ByuN really gets going. That's when he gets into his 5-rack setup with Marauder production, with Marine production. He takes the supply lead as a result because of how quickly that third base is and because of how uncontested the third base is as well. Especially on this map, what can Astrea do to that third? Nothing. So just really greedy and really powerful play here out of ByuN. Now, the one downside, the caveat here for ByuN, is that unlike on Site Delta, or unlike on some of these other larger maps, this third base is less valuable. There's only 4 patches. Only 4 mineral patches here at the third location, as opposed to a regular expansion. So because of that, this 3cc 3 racks from ByuN is actually going to be a little bit weaker than it usually is. Because usually he just goes in just full 3-way saturation. Now he's going to have like 2 3/4 saturation. or even 2.5. So that is going to impact the mid-game here for ByuN. As he's just getting into the rest of his Raxes. Stim is almost done. Back at home, Astrea did open Blink. It was a Blink-based opener. 2-gate Blink into a third, into a fourth base. I love that Astrea, he's meeting greed with greed. It's just all about cutting corners. It's almost like, not quite post-youth. What is the map that I was thinking of? I keep forgetting the name of the map from like 2 seasons ago, which had a pocket base, but a full base as well, and we would often see split map scenarios on it. Raz the Station, that's it. Jesus. I'm like purging that map from my memory. But very similar to Radisson Station, actually, where on Radisson Station, it was just a game of greed. Like, it was just a game of just mass expanding as quickly as possible and just cutting as many corners as possible as well. It was disgusting. Similar here. Meanwhile, I shout to Doom in the chat. Baby God, thank you so much for resubscribing for 4 months with Twitch Prime. Thank you. Thank you so much for resubscribing. Gracias, gracias. Yes, hydrate, Papi, hydrate. Hold on. I'll drink some water. Oh my god. Oh, the agüita. Because ByuN does move out. Does force the army back. Just trading here so far. Astrea not losing a single Stalker yet. Maintaining himself. Getting 2 Marines. ByuN going for a drop here towards the south. Double drop with Stim, of course. Astrea building up, working towards Charge, towards Archons, and towards Storm. Not quite yet, though. Has yet to throw down the the Temple Archives. So Astrea just working with a purely gateway composition. Has a lot of Zealots. And he's not working towards Storm, he's working towards Colossus. Interesting. Second Robo, the base on the way, going from Charge.Stalker into Colossus. Let's go. To double Robo Colossus production. Astrea is getting there. ByuN moving out. I do like the idea of Colossus initially, just because there's just too much bio. There's just so much bio here. Army's going to be engaging. Again, plenty of charges to collapse here on the Marauders and the Marines. Massive pickoffs. Marauder gets caught out. Nice catch here from Astrea. Likewise, forcing ByuN back towards left-hand side as well. And ByuN, he wanted to hit a 1-1 timing, but he's denied. ByuN is denied again. So important here that Astrea, he's active in the center of the map to get better engagements and to force ByuN back. So ByuN is delayed. Astrea getting a 5th expansion so quickly here. Jesus Christ. Oh my god. 5th base on the way. Colossal production soon to begin. 4th base is 9. That's a kill. That's a kill, not a cancel. Massive pickup here in favor of Astrea. That's 400 minerals down the drain. And this Ghost Academy gets thrown down. Astrea threatening a dive into the main base as well with that War Prism. And ByuN, despite having initially a strong start here in the mid-game, he has been struggling. His army's been being picked apart, his 4th base as well. Massive warp into the main. And the warp in will complete. At the same time, Astrea does rotate over towards the 4th base. There are some Widow Mines, though, waiting for him. Zealous wreak havoc, they distract. Mine just going up. Oh, massive connections. Oh my god. Massive connections, but he does at least still deny the 4th. As a Prism is still distracting, Zeal's still in the bases. 10 SCVs going down. Going for a massive warp in, and it will finish. Just barely, will complete. Not enough Marines, not enough anti-air. Prism will get the hell out of here. We'll save some of their Zealots. Getting 16 SCVs. And Astrea, he's just chilling. He doesn't have to push in. Astrea, he doesn't have to go for the kill. He's harassing, killing workers, denying expansions, and building up into Colossus. Again, 2 Colossus at a time. Prism finally goes down. ByuN can finally break out. What's he pushing into? He's pushing into Colossus. Astrea is looking good. Astrea is looking strong. Does have to be wary. He's up to 2 Colossus currently, getting up to 4. ByuN moving out. Astrea doesn't want to be caught. He falls back to his 4th base. No shield batteries. Bear that in mind. No shield batteries at the 4th yet. Scans ahead of time, spots the 4th base. ByuN moving in. There are 2 Vikings. Did I say 2? Down to 1. One Viking goes down. ByuN just peeling off, going for a Doom drop towards the main. Main army rotates towards the 3rd. Astrea not quite in position. Uh-oh, he does miss the drop. Does he have a warp in? Astrea, he's almost maxed out. Not much to warp in. Astrea, he rotates towards the third base. Doom drop does unload. Astrea, he has to engage. He does collapse on the army. But so many gateways going to be going down, and Astrea, he has no answer to this. Not yet. And does Astrea just go for the base trade at this point? As it can't quite recall into the main. Yeah, the main base, it is going to fall. All the gateways, the Nexus, the upgrades. There's a lot of Zelts, though. Having a hard time pushing in. Nexus goes down. Ooh, depowers and denies the upgrades as well. Yeah, just a brutal Doom drop here. This Doom drop, it is keeping ByuN in this game, if not even going to be winning in this game. I mean, the main army's still in favor of Astrea, but now he's supply blocked. More gateways going down, more Twilight Councils. Again, just Astrea was completely out of position earlier, and now he finally makes it back home. But this was brutal. And ByuN escapes. Oh, one medvac goes down, but he escapes with most of his army. So a very successful drop here from Astrea. Sorry, from ByuN. But what I will say, ByuN is still on 3 bases. ByuN was committed. He was very committed there. He's still stuck on 3 bases. He needs a 4th soon. But at least he denies +3. +3 was denied. 3-3 now on the way for ByuN. Astrea trying to catch out the drop. He gets spotted. Trying to rotate back over. Again, a very immobile army. He's up to 5 Colossus. It's one of those things where if Astrea was able to fight head on, he would win. 100%. He would win the fight. But when it comes to split map pushes, when it comes to these split scenarios, he's having a harder time. Otherwise, he'd have map control and Astrea could threaten the 4th, but Astrea, he's stuck at home. He's stuck at home. 4th base is getting up and running. ByuN could even try to double expand. 3-3 is almost done as well for ByuN. Someone asking in the chat, are they both pro players? Yes. Most of the people that we cast today have been pro players. So ByuN, Astrea, Rex that we casted earlier. All pro players. ByuN, yes, the other I don't know. Oh, you have to watch some more StarCraft. Oh, no. Watch some more StarCraft, man. As ByuN is going to rotate. Heads towards the 3rd. We'll be threading the mineral line. Nova goes up. Up! D's connection. And again, Astrea, he can take this fight. The Disruptor is not going to go down. Does pull away in time. Astrea is still maxed out. There's still that Doom drop, though, threading the main. This time Astrea is in position. This time he's ready. So Astrea takes a massive supply lead. Ooh. Takes the monsters to the face. That was, I believe, One-Eyed Templar. Sentry. Sentry going down. Army collapsing in. ByuN doesn't commit. Again, this time there's the Observer. Astrea, he has eyes on this. He does spot the drop. And ByuN, he scans ahead of time. He knows. He knows that Astrea is ready. Pulls back. Unfortunately, this drop is still keeping Astrea pinned back at home. Otherwise, he could move out. And again, I do favor Astrea if he does engage with this army. But so far, he's not. He's actually trying to collapse on the drop itself. Which means he's being dragged out of position. Astrea moving in. Goes to the blink. He gets 1. He gets 2. 2 medevacs go down. And now ByuN strikes. Now there's a recall. There we go. Does recall over in time. Army's ready. And Astrea, he can shut this down. He can and he will. Nova goes off. Massive connection. And ByuN's crumbling. At this point, he is crumbling. He lost his drop. He lost the main army. Drop back into the main. Meanwhile, across the map, Planetary is at least holding its own, but Astrea, he can aim it. He can aim it, Pappy. Let's go. He can move out across the map. ByuN, the drop in the main base is getting some damage done. 5 probe kills. But Astrea should be feeling confident, and he can go in for the kill. Send it, Pappy. Send it. Back at home, what is it to defend? There's a couple of Vikings. There's a couple of Ghosts. Not much left over. Here we go. Astrea is pushing in. Nova going up. Disruptor goes down. And some of the Colossus taking a lot of damage as well, but overall, Astrea, he should be able to overwhelm. as he just has a massive supply advantage. Takes down the bunker, drop across the map, gets cleaned up. Astrea defends. Now we can focus on the push. We focus on the main fight. The boys are being pulled. Decent EMPs. Disruptor goes down. Colossus as well. But again, for the most part, Astrea, he just overwhelms the army. I say that the EMPs were actually quite good. Oh my god. ByuN taking the best fight he could hope for. But here come the reinforcements. Oh, Astrea, be careful. Nova's going off. The concave here, the arc on top of the ramp was ideal for ByuN. Did lose his mineral line in the process, but he holds. ByuN is holding on. Astrea in the process, he lost how many? 3 Colossus. I think 3 Colossus went down in that fight. Down to 2. Astrea is still maintaining the economic lead. He could try and threaten the planetary. Meanwhile, ByuN takes another expansion. ByuN is still in this. ByuN, he re-expands, getting a 5th base. Building up a heavy Marauder army. This is where Astrea needs more either Disruptors or Storm or both. Like, Colossus are less effective here. Like, they're just, it's mainly Marauder. It's mainly Marauder army. Colossus, they tickle Marauders. As army supplies are evening up. Astrea spots the army. Nova goes up. Up! Massive connection! Good Nova here for Astrea. ByuN has to back off. Wasn't quite noticing. There's another Nova. They do go up. They get a Ghost. But Astrea here overextends. Disruptors are exposed. Yeah, a bit of miscontrol there from Astrea, losing all the Disruptors, losing a Colossus as well. Yeah, rough trade for Astrea. He will still chase this down. But ByuN got 4 Disruptors there. Ay, ay, ay. Astrea taking more bases, but again, ByuN, he can now maintain himself. He has a fresh mining base. And this game is slipping away from Astrea. It is slipping away. As ByuN is recovering, has a supply lead. Again, that was just a really rough fight for Astrea, losing 4 Disruptors. And Astrea's hurting. He's hurting back. Do we have Storm yet? No. No Storm. Oof. Only 1 Colossus. There are 0 Disruptors. 0 Disruptors, 0 High Templar, 1 Colossus. The splash damage is lacking for Astrea. And ByuN, he can take this fight. With good EMPs, he can shut this down. Speaking of EMP on the sentries. ByuN stepping in. Brutal EMP. Oh my god. The EMPs are brutal. The Archon's going to be melting. The 1 Colossus doing what he can in the back line. He's doing what he can. But how the pendulum swings from one player to the other. Again, Astrea was playing so well this game. There were a couple of crucial mistakes from Astrea, specifically, you know, the drop into the main that did so much damage. But even outside of that, Astrea still had a lead. But GG gets called, and ByuN, he will take game number 1. They will take a lead in the series. GG, the comeback, Papi. Again, Astrea just having a very rough fight earlier, pushing up the ramp, pushing up the concave. He lost all of his Colossus, lost his Disruptors, even afterwards as well. Resetting that Disruptor count was brutal, and losses that Astrea just could not afford. GG, well played. ByuN takes a lead. ByuN does take a lead here. Now we're getting ready for game number 2. Here we go. Upgrades that ByuN has been ahead. Yes, as we did mention, if you recall, the forges were sniped. If you remember, we were talking about the drop that went into the main base, which didn't just kill the main nexus, but also crippled the production and also sniped both forges. Both forges did go down. If you remember, that was the moment where ByuN sniped +3. So +3 attack of Astrea was heavily delayed as a result, referring to that Doom drop into the main. Just to wind it back a little bit, as a reminder. Here we go. So now getting ready here for game number 2. Getting ready for game 2 here, and we'll see. I mean, I'm hoping for an ace match, regardless of how this goes, whether it goes the way of ByuN or Astrea. Hoping for a game 3. I mean, again, as we did mention, for this year, for 2024, Astrea and ByuN, they are very close when it comes to their series score. Again, like 55% in favor of ByuN. And you can even see it here. There's definitely a world where Astrea definitely could have won that first game. He definitely had his own advantages, had his own leads when it came to his economy. Now we're getting ready for that second game. Getting ready. Here we go. Here we go. It looks like our players, they need a little bit of time though. I don't blame them. I don't blame them after that first game. They're calming things down. Do we have any other updates in the bracket? Looks like finally the entirety of the round of 16 has concluded. Ooh, and we have confirmation. Yeah, it's as we assumed would happen. Purely PvPs in the upper half of the bracket. There's one Zerg player left in the tournament. But we have a Protoss confirmed for the finals, as we're used to seeing. I guess we can take this moment to switch our scenes over and have a look. From the top here. Let's see. Let's scroll on up. But from the top, we have Hero versus Geralt, and Trap versus Down. As we mentioned at the time, when it comes to the top, like the round of 16 here, Wayne was the only non-Protoss to really contest against these players. And he did take a map, did go to the ace match against Geralt, but Wayne went down, so now pure Protoss here. So we have at least one Protoss for the finals. We'll see if it's going to be Hero, Geralt, Trap, or Down. Wish them all the best of luck. But again, we are focusing on the lower half of the bracket. I do enjoy PvPs, but when I saw the bracket and when I saw how it was seeded, I'm like, yeah, it's just going to be purely PvP in the upper half of the bracket. We'll try and have some variety here on the channel, which is why we started with Rex, leading into Astrea and ByuN. Just for some diversity. But here we go, we're getting into game number 2. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Frostline, we have the South Korean Protoss player, South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the American Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing himself. Down in the series, we'll see if he can bounce back and force the ace match. We know he can, but the pressure is on. It is Astrea. Here we go. As we are settling into game 2. We'll see, can we stop the PvP finals? We'll see. We'll do our best. As for now, we're getting into our openers. Loading into Frostline. Frostline is a very large map. It is smaller than Neon Violet Square, I should emphasize. I believe Neon Violet Square is the largest map in the map pool, but Frostline is still up there. The big difference, though, is that the bases are more exposed. This is a more modern map, so it does have more modern tendencies. What I mean by that, usually on small maps, the bases are more defendable. On large maps, they're more vulnerable. So that is kind of like the guideline for more of these modern maps. So because of that, this third base and this other the third and fourth base locations are a lot more open. The ramps are wider as well, and they're also spread out. They're a lot more spread out here compared to some of the more older maps, which didn't really have this kind of guideline, referring to Neon Violet Square, referring to Abyssal Reef, and King's Cove. So here you have that give and take of large map, but more exposed bases. So we'll see how this does turn out. We'll see who gains momentum early on. For now, it's going to be a gate expand into Cybercore from Astrea. Meanwhile, ByuN across the map just going for a double gas opener. Interesting. It's going to be double gas, going for a Rax into Factory here, into a more delayed TC, so a very safe opener by ByuN. And the safe opener can also turn into a more aggressive one with a faster starport into Banshees, into early tank production, into an early drop. We'll see where ByuN leads us. Here we go. Good. This blink is on the way. So it's going to be Twilight Council into Blink, standard opener here out of Astrea, Double Reaper into the main. Will threaten a dive. Oh! Gets a probe. Gets a worker, gets almost 2. So far, pretty good damage out of ByuN, getting 3 probes. Oh my god! This is getting a bit of out of hand. 3 worker kills so far. Very nice damage by ByuN. And with that, ByuN does take a lead early on. At the same time, Hellion into the natural. Doesn't quite get much more damage though. There's a shield battery, thankfully. And Astrea holds. Astrea does hold on. Regardless, so a nice start for ByuN. Behind this, getting into his own 1-1-1. As we mentioned, faster factory meant faster starport into a faster drop. It's going to be Widowmine opener, Widowmine drop by ByuN. We'll see if Astrea can keep up and can survive. See if he can hold on. ByuN going for his Widowmine drop across the map. Now, this is not designed to do damage. This is designed to scout, to get some scouting information and to get a read on what Astrea is up to. As it is only 2 Widowmines, and Astrea will now take his 3rd. Now, bearing in mind, this is a 3rd base after the gateway, so it's going to be 3-gate blink into a more delayed 3rd. So very safe play by Astrea. Mine drop comes in. Boys have to pull away. Widowmine here on top of the ramp. Oh, on top of the cliff face. And so far, just 2 probe kills. Nothing too major. And ByuN will save both Widowmines. Barely will. Both Widowmines should have said. Oh, the Stalker! Widowmass! One more shot! Oh my god, he gets the medevac. Massive pick off. ByuN with some miscontrol. I don't know if you noticed there, but ByuN, he did fail to pick up the Widowmine twice. He was kind of rotating between the base. It took a long time to pick up, and he was punished for that. Ay, ay, ay. So Astrea does shut him down. A better start for Astrea. And again, ByuN with the miscontrol with that medevac micro. With that, Astrea getting across the map. Going for the scouts. Gets eyes on the 3-1-1. Standard setup here by ByuN. But at least Astrea confirms there is no tech lab on the starport, so there's no Banshee follow-up, there's no Raven follow-up. Just by it. Speaking of Raven, it is going to be shut down as it is cornered. Oh no! The Raven falls as well. No dead space here between the bases. Again, ByuN having a really rough start here. Ideally, the Raven would distract, would keep supply busy, would get some economic damage, but alas, it's not this time, not here. And Astrea looking very solid here in the early game. That is 2 more Raxes. Okay, ByuN getting up to a 5-rack setup. This might just be a 2-base all-in. That would make a lot of sense, considering how poorly the early game has been for ByuN. I would not be surprised if he does commit, and even pulls the boys with this. We'll see, though. Really, we're looking for the 3rd base. We're looking for the 3rd TC. Does he throw it down here in the main, or on the low ground? It's in the main. Oh, never mind, Depot's on the way. So we'll keep an eye on whether or not ByuN expands. Otherwise, he might just commit. Observer dips in. We have the Observer to scout the move out. ByuN's still building up. He's massing up his army. Likewise, Astrea just now finishing up charge into +1. Thankfully, the Observer is close enough to spot the main army. And Astrea, he sees the move out. Does spot the army moving out. Astrea, you can see him respond. He's moving out to delay the push. And ByuN is committed with this. He is committed. Oh, Prism across the map, bold move by Astrea. This will force the all-in if he's able to get into the mineral line, but there are reinforcements back to him to defend. Astrea, he threatens a dive. Army in position. Does he warp in at home? He does. Ooh, medevac goes down. Astrea, he does warp in defensively. Tanks do siege, but ByuN is not really threatening a base. Astrea, his 3rd is elsewhere. Zelsa drop into the natural. SCVs are going down. And Astrea, he's ready for this. Yeah, he defends. Astrea defends. Forces back the army. Astrea on the hunt. He can try to chase this down. Likewise, War Prism in the main base, keeping ByuN busy back at home, forcing him to keep supply. Pinned in the main. And still no 3rd TC. No expansion. The longer this goes on, the better it is for Astrea. Again, this move out is designed to deal crippling damage, potentially just end the game. Zelt's back in. Astrea being so careful with this drop as well. I'm impressed. Oh god! I'm impressed. And there we go, the boys are being pulled. As you mentioned, it's a 2-base all-in. Like, there's no third. There's no third base. 2-base all-in out of ByuN. Again, this makes sense just because of the poor early game. Like, ByuN cannot recover and get into a longer game state. Not in this kind of setup. So it's all or nothing. And there's no splash damage for Astrea. Uh-oh. No Storm, no Colossus, no Disruptor, no nothing. ByuN can pull this off. Zelt's take collapse in. Astrea getting choked up. Mind shot's going up. Nice hold position micro. Avoid splash damage. Astrea taking it slow. Colossus on the way. Again, time is on Astrea's side. Being very patient. Warping in more Zealots. ByuN throwing down a wall of depots. Slowly pushing forward. Getting within range of the Robo. Robo under fire. Tank shots going up. Astrea does try to collapse in from the right-hand side. Mine shots going up, but the tanks are exposed. And the tanks, can he bring them down? Ah, barely not. Zelta coming from behind. We get the surround armies overstimmed, and Astrea, he holds on. The Colossus arrives just in time, shuts down the ByuN. Cleans up the army. That was 30 SCVs going down. And Astrea, he's looking to force the ace match. I mean, again, Astrea, he was in a winning position in a game 1, here in game 2 as well. Astrea, though, he's in a bit of trouble. ByuN reinforcements have arrived. Roto's diving in, getting on top of the Robo. Boys are being pulled. He's going for the Colossus. He gets it. Colossus goes down. Astrea, can he hold on? He pulls even more boys. There, he does hold. GG gets called, and Astrea ties up the series. We are going to the ace match. GG. GG, well played. Very patient and very careful play out of Astrea. Again, I love that Astrea didn't warp in across the map. He also confirmed the all-in, as we were saying, because ByuN, because he lost the Widowmine, because he lost the Raven, because ByuN had such a rough start to the game, did make sense for him to go for the 2-base all-in, but it was also on Astrea to confirm. And he did. He had the Observer outside the natural. On top of that, the War Prism kept checking the main and the natural. And again, really important as well that Astrea, he was making sure he was reinforcing back at home, kept warping in, made sure he was playing it safe. He was also very careful with that War Prism to harass, killing some SCVs here and there, never committing too hard. GG. Really well done. Really well done there by Astrea. And now we're getting into the ace match. Oh boy. Getting into game 3, it's going to be on El Dorado. And this is a very chaotic map. This is the most vetoed map in the map pool, so I'm shocked to see it here. I mean, I guess I shouldn't be. You know, it's Astrea. He does often enjoy some of these more unorthodox maps. And I'm curious if we have any spicy builds. Oh. I'm curious. As we're getting ready here for that third game. And it looks like we're being joined by some of the other casters. It looks like Sue versus Max has concluded. As Steadfast is joining us as well. Beautiful. So we are getting to the ace match. And again, El Dorado is known for having short rush distance by air. Short rush distance by air map. Likewise, goal bases as well. There's 3 goal bases on this map that we can embrace. We can have a look at as well. It's a lot to go over. Here we go. Getting into game 3 and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of El Dorado, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Shopify Rebellion, being forced into the ace match. Can he bring it back? Can he bring it home? It is ByuN. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the American Protoss player forcing the ace match, bringing us all the way to game 3. Can he keep it going? It is Astrea. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Neo in the chat. Oh my god. El papi. El abogado. Oh my god. You graduated, right? If you're still in the chats, big shout to Neo, of course, ex-Cranky Duckling, ex-member of the Cranky Ducklings, Terran player extraordinaire, and I believe recently did finish law school. I believe. I could be mistaken, but felicidades. Felicidades, papi. Ay, ay, ay. Congratulations. Now we have a lawyer. In a way. Oh no. In case we need you. As Astrea is getting to a standard opener, gate expand. Before Cybercore, so slightly more greedy here by Astrea. Okay, way into Nexus. Likewise, back at home, ByuN going for his own Rax expand. Sorry, Rax into Factory. Double gas opener, double gas here out of ByuN. So he's going for a delayed CC into a faster factory. We saw this last game. If you remember, in game 2, this led into a Widowmine drop. It led into a Widowmine drop opener, which did fall on its face. It was a little bit lackluster there from ByuN, and Astrea had a very strong start to game 2. But we'll see where this leads in game 3. Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. So we are settling in. But now it is going to be a Stargate opener out of Astrea. Interesting. For the first time this series, every game so far we've had Blink. Twilight Council into Blink. It is the go-to. It is the stock standard. Going for a Stargate opener is a little bit risky. In a way, like Stargates, they have their pros and cons. The big con for a Stargate opener is you are vulnerable early on to tank pushes, to early game aggression. Again, Phoenixes, they have a really hard time dealing with those early pushes just because you're limited by your energy. So it can be quite risky, but if your opponent plays standard, if your opponent isn't aggressive, then you can gain map control and you can get away with a bit of a greedier start, taking faster into, for example, Colossus, into a more robo-based composition. Likewise, they allow you to harass early on as well. As Reapers, they dive into the main. It's going to be 2 probe kills for 2 Reapers. I would say a better trade for Astrea, as it is 1-to-1. And my apologies, I assumed it was going to be Stargate into Phoenix, but instead Stargate into Oracle. Okay, it's going to be an Oracle opener here out of Astrea. With an Oracle, he can harass across the map, he can scout, of course. The downside here is that it means he has less anti-air and less consistent anti-air to deal with drop play, referring to Blink Stalkers or Phoenixes. We'll see where Astrea takes us. We have the NG overcharge on the Oracle as it zooms across the map. Back at home, ByuN building up, getting to Cyclones. Very safe opener here. ByuN did scout, did confirm the Stargate earlier, so he's getting ready to defend. Marines back at home, Cyclone as well, into Viking, just everything that shoots up. ByuN is getting ready for Phoenixes. I mean, for anything. Oracle dips in. Gets relation. Oh my god, into Fleet Beacon. He's crazy. Astrea Stargate opener, Oracle into Fleet Beacon, second Stargate into Skytoss. Oh my god. This is something you do not see too often in this matchup. Oracle takes a lot of hits, Oracle goes down. Ooh, that's a massive pickoff actually. The Oracle was designed to scout, was designed to give Astrea a heads up as it comes to a move out. Astrea's in the dark and ByuN should soon push. Aye, that should not have happened. Astrea is in trouble. Remember, he is taking quite heavily into a higher form of tech, of course. And he has very little to defend. He has 2 vanilla Stalkers, 1 Adept, 1 Shield Battery. Void Ray's on the way. Void Ray is going to be quite necessary to defend, and here comes ByuN. Does move out. We have a Viking towards the main army here towards the left-hand side. Banshee on the way behind this as well, into Cloak Banshee. Tempest production has begun, and the Viking will confirm. Void Ray attempts to deny. Oh my god, denies a scout. Okay, I see you. Scout is denied. ByuN, he pulls back. He doesn't commit. ByuN pulls away. Just spot the Void Ray. And so far, Astrea, he's getting away with this. He's crazy. Is getting away with this. Let's go. See in chat, is this the OP Cyclone version? If you've been watching the channel over the past week, tournaments do not play with the live version of the game. Tournaments play with a mod that does fix the Cyclone. So you actually shouldn't have seen any tournaments with the bugged Cyclone, only like ladder streams. Like people that stream on ladder and stuff like that, that's where you would have experienced the bugged Cyclone. But tournaments, they do play with a modded version, which removes that. Does remove that. As Banshee dives into the main, or into the natural. Ooh, is it detection? Zero detection. Zero detection here for Astrea. There's no Oracle. The Oracle died. There's no Robot. There's no Observer. Probes are going down. This is a rough start here for Astrea. But he does move out across the map. We'll see what he can get done. As probes are falling one after the other. Tempest, they reveal themselves. They get a couple of SCV, or they get one SCV. They threaten the main. 2 more starports are on the way. As a response, Stim can be denied. True. Meanwhile, that's going to be 10 probe kills. Oh my god. 10 workers going down. Oracle now arrives. 11 probes. The Tempest. Now the Tempest is caught. Very nice position here out of ByuN. Does he get it? Up. He barely does. 1 Tempest falls. Massive pickup. Stim still up and running. Banshees are being defended against. Finally. They're going to be cleaned up. But Stim is denied. Very chaotic game state. But what's important though is that ByuN did go double starport. So he's got triple starport production. Mass Viking on the way. Is getting to Mass Viking. And the Tempest will attempt to delay. Going for the add-ons. Trading with Marines. More Tempests are building up. Marines coming in from behind. Once again, good damage here on the Tempest. And they're getting low. They're getting very low. Vikings have made it. They get 1. 2 Tempests left. 2 Tempests remaining. Up. And he gets the final Tempest as well. Down to 1. Again, just really brutal trades here for Astrea. Losing every single Tempest. Recall not effective. And ByuN holds. ByuN he holds. He's getting his 3rd base. Back at home, what does Astrea have to work with, actually? He's got a really weird army. He's got 2 Tempests. He's got some Stalkers. Remember, he has no Blink. Really, the Tempest are the backbone of his army. Takes down more Marines. Ooh, Oracle goes down once again. Again, Astrea just trying to whack her on multiple fronts. He's moving forward. No Blink! Oof. And there it is, GG. GG gets called. A very interesting build here out of Astrea, but alas, ByuN, he shuts it down, and ByuN will take the series at 2-1. GG. GG, well played. I would say that Astrea definitely has potential with that build, but unfortunately, the Banshee opener from ByuN did catch him with his pants down. It was almost like a build order loss in a way, just because Astrea didn't scout the Banshees, Banshees didn't scout... Astrea didn't scout the Banshees, ByuN didn't scout the Tempest, but there was no detection. No detections for the Banshees. They got 11 probe kills. They kept Astrea busy back at home. Because he was trying to defend, that also meant that he was inattentive to his Tempest, and we saw like 1 Tempest go down early on as well to Marines around. Like there was just a lot going on, and alas, Astrea was pulled apart with that. GG. GG, well played. ByuN will take it. ByuN will advance on to the semifinals. And does ByuN have an opponent? We're here to find out. Exclamation mark. Be in the chat if you guys want to have a look back yourselves.